He is one of the most beloved figures in the history of this radio show. 20 years of doing this radio show. He is Tim Kurkjian. He is joining us right now. You can check out Tim's podcast, which he does with his son, Jeff. Is this a great game or what? Which is perfectly named by Tim Kurkjian and his son. It comes out every Monday, wherever you get your podcast. Tim, how much fun has that been for you and your son to do that together?
It's been the highlight of my career, and I don't care how corny that sounds. It's something my son and I have always wanted to do together. He's really good at this, but he's not a baseball expert by any means. And since I don't know anything about anything other than baseball, basketball, and sitcoms from the 60s, he fills in every other gap. He knows everything about music. He knows everything about pop culture. He knows a lot about a lot of stuff. So we go back and forth. We have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. Our guests have been absolutely hilariously funny, almost every one of them. This has been the best time I've ever had doing anything, is doing a podcast with my son.
I don't want to put you in a bad spot here, but what was the career highlight before you started this podcast with your son?
Well, Hank Aaron joined us on the air during a game several years ago for 4 innings. So I sat next to Hank Aaron.
Wow.
For 4 innings during a game. It was Dave Fleming, Eduardo Perez, and myself. And I was so captivated sitting next to Hank Aaron, who was so funny. His stories were so good. His recall was amazing. It was so good, I stopped keeping score of a game that I was calling because I didn't care about the game. I only cared about him. And when it was over, I checked Twitter. Never a good idea to check Twitter after you've called the game.
Right.
And some guy wrote in, he said, if you ever meet anybody who looks at you like Tim Kurkjian looked at Hank Aaron tonight,
Frank Aaron,
you should marry that person. That's how captivated we all were by Hank Aaron. That was the highlight of my career until my own son said, we got to do this. And now we've done a podcast for 31 weeks.
what if Hank Aaron wanted to do a podcast with you, Tim?
Oh, wow.
Well, that would have been pretty cool, too. I'll never forget, I also interviewed Willie Mays and Hank Aaron at the same time at Cooperstown like 20 years ago. And there I am standing between, at the time, the 2 greatest living players, and I just went back and forth with them. That was pretty cool, too. I've had a lot of really cool moments covering baseball over the years. That's why, among many reasons, baseball is the greatest game ever.
Tim, we'll get to the series in just a second here. French onion soup, overrated or underrated?
I haven't had it in a long time, but I really like it. But then again, I like virtually everything. I'm the least picky eater in the world. The only thing I don't eat are oysters because I had one and it was bad.
Yeah.
But yes, I really like French onion soup. I can see where people think it's overrated after you get through the cheese on the top.
Thank you.
But I'll take it any day. I think it's still really good.
What is your favorite soup, like your go-to soup?
I'm just a vegetable soup guy.
Makes
I don't
sense.
even need meat in there. I love vegetables. I love all vegetables. You could fire anything in there, and as long as you fill it with sturdy stuff, I'm going to eat it, and I'm going to love it, and it's pretty good for you.
Tim, how did the Mets, with the highest payroll in baseball, become this lovable little underdog? I mean,
good point, Stugotz. These gritty little Mets, and they're not the gritty little Mets. They're a really good team, and they have been since the beginning of June. But I'm telling you, fellas, I was there in England this year when they played the Phillies in a 2-game series. Michael Kay, Doug Glanville, and I did the game on TV. And if you remember that Sunday game against the Phillies, the Mets were going to lose the second game of that series, having lost the first one. And with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 9th inning, Nick Castellanos hit that little dribbler out in front of home plate. And Luis Torrens, the catcher, went out and got it, stepped on the plate for a force, and then threw to first for a double play. A 2-3 double play to end a one-run game. It's the first time in baseball history that play has ever happened to end a one-run game. And I'm telling you, that was the jumping off point that here come the Mets. Like, that crazy play happened, and they started to believe, hey, something special might start to go on here. And ever since then, they've been an awfully good team, and they're not this, sparky little gritty team. They're good in every way.
Tim, another moment people have turned to and said maybe this is when things started changing for the Mets is when they had Francisco Lindor replace Brandon Nimmo in the leadoff spot. They were 2024 when that move was made. They've been 70 and 48 since then. On the other side, the team they're playing against, Shohei Ohtani has not been good in the playoffs in the leadoff spot. He's been hitting 0-19 with the bases empty, so there's been discussions of kind of moving him back in the lineup because he's been 6 for 8 with runners in scoring position. How do you decide, because obviously the Dodgers had the best team in baseball, they've said they're not going to move him, but how do you decide when it's time to make that move?
All right, now is not the time to make that move, because in today's day and age, when you make that move, it shows a panic on your side, and there's no reason to panic right now. First off, he's going to start to hit again. But there's another reminder here, fellas, just how difficult this game is to play. I mean, Stephen Vogt and I, manager of the Guardians, were saying, we don't know how anyone gets a hit anymore in today's baseball. So to see Aaron Judge struggle like he has until last night, to see Ohtani struggle, I'm never surprised when these things happen, because you're facing unbelievably good pitching every day, especially in the postseason. So I would leave Ohtani exactly where he is, because he's going to win the MVP unanimously as a leadoff hitter. Just leave him there. But if I were in charge of this, and I'm an old man now, I would hit him third in the order. So he bats in the first inning every day, but he has a better chance, of course, to come up with somebody on base. But that's just me, old school thinking. The best hitter should hit third on your team, not necessarily first.
Tim, I loved how much you loved that wacky double play that you mentioned earlier. What is the wackiest double play in terms of like numbers that you've seen?
Well, that's the wackiest one because it's never happened before since we started counting grounded into double plays.
Oh, that is unique.
Yes.
Right. And we had another double play this year. I'm going to be close on this. There was a double play this year that had never there was a fly out to the outfield. I can't remember this, but it went to center field. The center fielder flipped it to the right fielder, who flipped it to the shortstop, who threw it somewhere. And that double play might even have been a triple play, had never happened before in baseball history. And this is why baseball is so cool. We've played well over 200,000 games in baseball history, and a play happens that has never happened before. These are the things where I go, first time ever, even though that's redundant. It's the first time ever that play has happened. That still should have great meaning to anyone who cares about the game.
It happened in a Marlins game. It was an 8-9-4-2 double play. It was crazy.
Right, crazy. And it had never happened. And it's because the center fielder fell down, so you have to pitch it to the right fielder. Crazy play.
He caught the play, tossed it over to him. Someone was trying to tag up. I think because he fell, they tried to go home from second base and get 2 bases, so it ended up being a double play at home.
Right. Highlight of the Marlins season, Billy. Sorry.
All right, Tim.
Thanks.
Wow.
Sorry.
Tim, it's great to see you.
Right.
Yesterday, there was a report out of the Tampa Bay Times suggesting that Tropicana Field is going to be unplayable for the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, they announced plans for a new stadium, but that's years away. What do you think is the plan for the Tampa Bay Rays going forward? I think I did actually go to a couple Tampa Bay Rays games at Disney's Wild World of Sports several years ago. What are the possible solutions here for this organization?
Well, we're going to have to come up with solutions pretty quickly, because I think that place is going to be unplayable for, I don't know for how long, but they're going to have to start looking. Last night we took the subway home after our game. We've done this 4 nights in a row, where Eduardo Perez, Carl Ravitch, and I get on the subway, and there were like 1 million Yankee fans. It was really a lot of fun. And there was a guy sitting right next to us, and he's the biggest Tampa Bay Rays fan ever. Like, where did that come from? And he said the Rays are not going to play at home next year. Not like he knows anything. they need to go play in Oakland because they can't play in Tropicana Field. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe I've heard, maybe just guessing, they would share the Marlins ballpark because at least it's in Florida. But this is going to be a very difficult situation to handle if they can't get that ballpark ready to go. And from what I'm told, it's going to be hard. This is a bigger issue than people think it is.
They have one of the better spring training complexes in baseball with the Yankees.
They do, yeah.
Residing in Tampa. Is that a possible option? Major League Baseball is already going to be playing. I know they're making alterations to it, but in a minor league ballpark to accommodate the A's while their new stadium is getting built.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And don't forget, we Montreal was supposed to share the Rays for a while, and we thought, they're going to play 81 in Montreal, or 41 in Montreal and 41 in Tampa. Again, I don't see that happening, but yes, the Steinbrenner Field in Tampa is a beautiful minor league ballpark, but you can only can't even get 10,000 people in there. But
sounds like the Trop.
yeah. Sorry, glad you filled that in. So,
Stop being sorry, Tim. Stop it.
It's a problem.
Okay.
Tim, so yesterday there was some base running blunders in New York, and John Sterling said that they looked like they were drunks running the bases. This has been something that has happened for the Yankees this season. Gleyber Torres had one in September. He had another one in August. It led to him getting benched. They're up 2-0 in the ALCS, but is this something that they're going to have to correct because they're not going to always be able to overcome these things?
Yeah, they are up 2-0 in this series, and they really haven't played particularly well. The Guardians in Game 1 had 5 wild pitches and issued 7 walks. The Yankees made 2 horrendous base running mistakes last night, and if it weren't for a couple of errors by the Guardians, it would have been a much closer game. The point here is, fellas, and you don't see me get upset very often, the base running in the big leagues is the worst that I have ever seen it.
Wow.
5 years ago, I wrote a story just on this subject, 7,000 words, about how most people don't know how to run the bases in the big leagues today. They're bigger, stronger, faster, and better than ever, and they have no idea how to run the bases. They overpowered the sport with their amazing physical gifts, and yet they don't understand which base to throw to sometimes and how to run the bases. Jazz Chisholm getting picked off second last night. It's incomprehensible how that can happen. Look, I can put up with anything, fellas. If you can't hit 98 miles an hour, I get it. If you can't throw a strike, if you can't catch a ground ball that's hit at 108 miles an hour, I get it. But there is no excuse for running the bases poorly, as the Yankees did last night, and as virtually every team does on a nightly basis. If I had made that mistake when I was 16 years old, Mr. Keene would have taken me out of the game and said, "You don't." Yes, he would. You do not deserve to play the rest of this game if you get picked off in that situation. And I saw 2 of the worst base running mistakes I've ever seen in back-to-back games in Seattle this year. There's no sense going into it, but people on the Mariners and the Yankees both acknowledge we've never seen that happen before. Those base running mistakes were so bad. We've never seen it before in our lives. Anybody. That's how bad it was.
Tim, we have less than 30 seconds here. We'll get you out of here. But I know Major League Baseball, I know most of the networks especially, they want a Dodger-Yankee World Series. What does Tim Kurkjian want?
Look, I don't care anymore. I just want to go to the World Series and see it. We're not going to lose no matter what we have. Dodgers, Yankees would be tremendous. Yankees, Mets would be tremendous. Almost anything would be tremendous because there are no prohibitive favorites this year. We have no idea what's going to happen. That's been the beauty of the 2024 season.
The Guardians. That could happen too.
Anything's possible.
All right, Timmy, we love you. We miss you. Enjoy the rest of the postseason. And thank you for doing this during a very busy time.
Okay, fellas. Miss you too. See ya.
All right, thanks, Timmy. He's got his Yankee
What up,
gear
gang?
¿Qué lo que, manito?
¿Qué lo que, mío? Okay, tranquilito. First and foremost, I want to thank Stugotz for all that he does. We got to start there.
Yep. That is very kind of you because no one thanks me around here. And so I do appreciate that because
nobody thanks you.
Thankless job.
I always got to.
Yeah.
I already know. I'm an avid listener, Stu. I gotta give you your thanks. You know what I mean? Your props. You know, because you're very maligned on that set. Listen, I see it, and I'm in your corner.
Right. I appreciate that, and everyone was offended here because they're claiming they always thank me. I was talking about Dan. That's all. I was just talking about Dan. That's it. You are excited. Look at you. You got the Yankee hat on. You got the Yankee jacket on.
Come on, son. New York sports, baby. New York sports.
Yanks are up 2-0. I mean, the Mets are a lovable underdog with the highest payroll in baseball. It is a great time to be a New York sports fan.
Oh, it's a bit of, I like the little payroll jab. Listen, I'm not a Mets fan. I'm a New York guy. I'm not a Mets hater. I'm not one of those Yankee fans that's like, yo, forget the Mets. I like the Mets. You know what I mean? They are a lovable underdog, Stu. Let's not – a lot of that money is dead money. That's like Scherzer money. That's the ground money. Like, look at me defending – what am I doing defending the Mets?
I don't know.
Yankees,
I don't
baby.
like this.
I don't know. No, you should be railing against the fact that they're a lovable underdog with a $315 million payroll.
Hey, listen. Listen, you see the memes. It's all about the Mets, baby. Let them live. It's their time to shine. As a Knicks fan, I understand. You know what I mean? When you see success, you get excited. You do things. You make memes with McDonald's characters. Let them live. Let them cook. You know, it's very rare for Mets fans to have this level of joy at this station of the year.
You're right. It is rare. If we get a Mets Yankees World Series, you and I will have to make a bet with each other, and we'll have to attend a game together. Okay?
Absolutely. And neither of us will be sober.
Roy, what are you laughing at over there?
You're not going tonight.
I would go with Mero. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's not my cousin. How about that? I mean,
Poor Jeffrey.
Close enough.
Mero, so Stugotz was offered a ticket to the Mets game on Friday, but he doesn't want to go with the person that offered him a ticket. He's trying to figure out how to either get out of it or should he just go because they're good seats. What would you do in that situation?
Oh, man. I mean, I would just go because they're good seats and then just kind of like, I'm not going to say ignore the person you're there with, but, ignore the person you're there with if you don't really want to be with them.
Right.
The solution,
why not?
The solution we came up with is you got to put in like headphones and say he likes to listen to the radio call while he's at the game, which no one does anymore.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
but if somebody's going to do it, it's going to be Stu.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, but what I'm worried about, Mero, is the fact that if you say yes, you take the free ticket, you hang out for 3 hours, there's probably an expectation to do something that's not as fun as attending the NLCS somewhere down the road, where I can't wear headsets.
So, listen, you can always wear headsets, Stu. They're always – it's like a service dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just say, like, yo, this is it calms my anxiety. It's my Headspace app, whatever it is, bro. You make something up.
Or you just
you know what I mean?
Invite that person to a bunch of things they don't want to go to, or like something super light. Like invite them to like Monster Jam or something. Right. You know what I mean? Like monster trucks, and it's like everybody has to wear headsets, so you're good.
Right.
Yes.
I think Mero's probably like, why am I explaining this to you of all people? Like, you know how to get yourself out of these situations.
I'm like, yo, you're the master of the social spin move, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're the social swim move guy, dog. Like, you know how to get out of anything, any commitment. Like, well, I should be taking lessons from you.
What'd you make of the Knicks and the Karl-Anthony Towns trade, man?
I love it. I'm not. A lot of people were mad about it. A lot of my fellow Knicks faithful were upset. Yo, we lost Drew. We lost. You know what I'm saying, Dante. You got the same guy in one. You got a big man that can shoot. Yeah, and it's one guy. Now you lost two guys that do two individual things. It's like Ohtani of basketball. This guy can shoot and he's a big man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to hear anything about, yo, he's soft, this, that, the third. That narrative is over. As soon as we get together and we go to Dykeman and we spend a week or two uptown doing, uptown activities, that narrative will be erased. You know what I'm saying? I'm making it my own personal, mission to make that happen as a Knicks fan.
Mero,
same way I got Juan Soto signed to the Yankees, I'm going to make Cat a success.
Atta boy.
Mero, Amin Al-Hassan, our NBA expert, said the best thing that Cat could do is to lean into his Dominican side. Smoke hookah at halftimes, play them bow, do all that stuff, but like lean super heavy into it, and New York will accept him instantly.
Bro, instantaneous. You want to talk about like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's talking about instant gratification, this young generation, they don't want to put the work in, blah, blah, blah. Bro, You wave that flag on opening night, bro, against the Celtics. It is over. Al Horford, who? He becomes second on the totem pole of Dominican NBA players.
The internet is workshopping a nickname for him, the Big Bodega. How do you feel about that?
I don't like that. Big Bodega's whack. Bodega Cat is it. Bodega Cat.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, because what does the Bodega Cat do? It holds down, it protects the bodega, it eats all the vermin that are trying to pee on your chopped cheese, you know what I'm saying, and your food. You know what I mean? It holds down. It holds it down. It's a defensive stopper in the bodega. You know what I'm saying? So he's the Bodega Cat.
Walk out the Rochi.
You know what I mean? Tosa vaina, loco. Opa, opa, opa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is the show with Carmelo Anthony. New episodes every week on their YouTube channel at 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. They have Rich Paul on this week. What'd you get out of Rich Paul?
Not a lot.
Really? Way to sell it, man.
That's an interview. Don't listen.
But no, it was great. It was a tremendous interview. Shout out to Rich Paul, shout out to Melo, and shout out to myself for being a tremendous interviewer. You know what I mean? But funny enough, Rich, so this is a funny story. We're having an interview, right? We're in the studio, and there's a gas leak. I don't know that there's a gas leak. Somebody, there's a PA in the back going around saying, hey, there's a gas leak, there's a gas leak, there's a gas leak. I just see, my back is to everybody. I just see Rich Paul sitting in a chair going like this. I was like, hey, what's going on, guys? And then there was a gas. So then we did a fire drill. We evacuated the building, and we got to hang out outside. You know what I mean? For like an hour and a half. And then we did the interview after that, you know? But it was a great interview because Rich Paul is an innovator in his space. You know what I'm saying? And we talked a lot about that.
Oh, yeah, hold on. He's got hold on. Here we go.
Roy,
dame una salsita ahí rica.
I mean, somebody had to do it.
There we go. Refran the Dia is presented by Hulu. Don't miss the all-new Spanish-language original series, La Máquina. All episodes streaming now on Hulu. And I had to bring El Único, the only one.
El Don.
El Don.
El Patrón.
El Patrón.
El Maestro.
El Único. The Kid Mero. to Refran the Dia. Because anytime that he's on Refran the Dia, it pops off. The entire world loves it. That's what we do around here,
on,
me
man.
and you.
Well, baby, I bring the sazon. You know what I'm saying?
Sazon, la salsa, todo. All right, let's spin the wheel.
Oh, the wheel.
He said, let's do it.
The wheel. I mean, my God.
My producer says, let's do it. I'm looking for my wheel.
Chris has a lot on his plate right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. We're spinning.
Right,
We're spinning.
Not gonna lie, I forgot about the wheel.
We're spinning.
Having to
You
be
need the wheel,
Friday too,
Chris.
Chris. Don't worry.
Wheel landed on a... There we go. Chris is all over the place today. It's all good. Here we go.
There's a lot going on here.
Today's
Chris. It's
Refran the Dia. And Mero, usually we have Dan in here that can, spice things up too. We have Billy. We have Mike, who are our Hispanic correspondents here. I'm sure they've heard of this. Also, as you've heard of this.
I'm just here.
Today's
so
Refran the
Dan's
Dia.
just taking Hispanic Heritage Month off. He's just taking the whole month off?
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Oh, okay. Got you. All right, Dan must be nice.
Yeah, he's in
Must
LA
be, yeah.
following the Chargers, I think.
I think it ended yesterday because it's the weird September 15th to
It's like
October.
a half
It's that
month.
whole thing.
Yes.
They
I
don't
don't like
respect
that.
us.
Hey,
They
give-
only
give
go 2
everybody
half
a whole
months.
month.
It's a
How
whole
about that?
thing.
He's
Yeah.
watching the
Like
Kings
here.
right now. Yeah.
Right. Now the Clippers.
Take 2
actually.
weeks. And then 2 weeks on the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, bums.
Interviewing George Sedano.
It dried
All
up
right.
when taxes are due.
And go, Jeff. Go ahead.
Today's Refran the Dia is comiendo lo que pica el pollo.
¡Wow!
I like it.
Comiendo lo que pica el pollo. Espérate. Time out.
He called for time
out. Espérate, time out. Necesito ayuda from my cubano porque somos dominicanos. So, oye, comiendo lo que pica el pollo. According to me, which you can also find on YouTube, according to the Kid Mero. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Little plug. You know what I'm saying? Hey, go check it out. Comiendo lo que pica el pollo means, to me, a Dominican, you are being nosy. Is that? Am I correct with that? Comiendo is it synonymous with comiendo boca?
No. So
Oh.
us,
What's the chicken?
we use it as comiendo lo que pica pollo. Is like you're fooling around, you're not paying attention, you're kind of eating.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. Está comiendo lo que pica pollo.
Where's the chicken?
You're not locked in here. You're doing other things. Oye, ven para acá. Estás comiendo lo que pica
Estás
pollo.
divariando, loco. Estás divariando. Tú no estás
No estás enfocado. No estás afilado. Esa es la cosa. Ponte
No estás
afilado.
enfocado.
Ponte enfocado.
Stugotz?
I have no idea what happened.
So, comiendo lo que pica pollo literally translates into eating what the chicken eats.
Eating what the chicken eats, bro. Which, again, is another refran that if you are of Caucasian descent, you might be like, yo, that makes absolutely no sense. And as a representative of the Latino community, I'm going to say, it don't matter. Mind your business.
Exactly right.
I was told by a white Northeastern person that eating is also not something that they say.
No.
That it's usually like a Latin. They're like, what are you doing, bro? Nothing, just hanging around eating.
No,
The
like,
fact that you
why?
would just volunteer
It's
that, like
gross.
everyone's like, what are you talking about?
I've never said it. Yeah.
That's why Miami's the best, baby.
Miro,
That's right.
Miro, we appreciate it. 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is the show. Carmelo is his co-host. He has Rich Paul. He gets nothing out of him, but check it out anyway because Miro is fantastic. We appreciate it, buddy. Good luck to your Yankees, okay?
Thank you. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Knicks. It's the Bodega Cat, by the way. You know what I'm saying? According to the kid, Victory Light, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. Check all that stuff out because we out here trying to pay these due mortgages. Stu, thank you very much.
All
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Love you, buddy. Gen CFB, Lucy and Jess talking college football next.
Kind of excited about all the Rays possibilities. And I understand for people in that St. Pete area, in Tampa, there are bigger things. But since we know that they're going to stay in the Tampa Bay area,
Right.
their future is secure with this deal, this does open up some interesting possibilities. Them going to Montreal, that'd be cool, kind of being a vagabond club. But Tim Kurkjian opened the door to them possibly playing in Miami here at Marlins Park, to which I say, the most obvious thing in the world is Dan's going to be a Rays season ticket holder in Miami. We are going to be
He's rooting
flipping through
against this. He
No
has to
one-
be rooting against it. He doesn't want this to be put on his
Why?
doorstep.
Because he has to go to the
Yeah,
games then?
yeah.
Because
He'd
there's
become
not a
it.
bigger Rays fan other than Dick Vitale anywhere in the country.
He's up there with Dickie V in
Yes.
terms of fans that you associate with a ball club. It's almost word association now. Dan Le Batard, Tampa Bay Rays. If they come to Miami, we're going to be flipping through channels and seeing them behind the dish. Right?
They can't do this to Montreal. They cannot tease Montreal with the Rays like for a season. Like, here you go. Like, why don't you have the Rays for a little bit? Like, that's so
half a
cruel.
season.
That's so cruel. to them.
Wouldn't it be a beta test to see if they can actually
Yes.
support a club? They wouldn't. I think they understand how cruel that would be. Not just like, hey, 2 years, peace out, we're gone.
Right.
Like the whole Montreal thing was born out of leveraging them for a possible move to see if Montreal could actually support a baseball club.
Why does it cost $100 million to fix the roof of the Trop? Like, that seems crazy to me. Like, I can call someone to tent my house and it's the same material and they can put that up in like 15 minutes. Like, why can't you just call like fumigators to put up like the circus tent right across the roof of the
Also,
tarp?
why don't you just take it off and play open stadium?
Because
Well,
they can't
no
drain.
drainage.
There's
Yeah,
no
the drainage.
drainage,
drain it, yeah.
apparently.
I'm
is the
curious to
problem.
know what
Come on.
how
They
much of
released the
drainage-
Rays, by the way. You know the Rays that they have in the outfield? So, like, they released them to, like, a Ray sanctuary.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what the price. What would be the quote on the drainage system? Because to see that price is wild, and I
Couple
understand it
holes
was
in the ground.
it was built a long time ago, but that has to cost more to fix that roof. I'd argue costs more to fix the roof than it was to actually build
Right.
that stadium.
But I love how Billy is making it seem so easy. Just put a couple of holes in the
You're
ground
telling me
and let the
irrigation's gonna
thing
be $100
drain.
million?
Honestly, like, I'd elevate the field like 6 inches and then just have it like run off into gutters on the side of the field. I could figure it out. Give me $100 million.
We'll figure it out.
I could figure that out.
You'll come in
Exactly right.
under budget.
Oh, dude.
We'll do for $1 million.
No. We'll do
No,
it
you
for
want
$100 million.
You want the
We'll do it
100,
for
you get the
$100
job
million.
done for $1 million,
Right.
Tony.
How about
we'll
this?
do it
Look,
for $1 million.
It's gonna cost $100 million to fix the roof. Give us 95, and me and Tony will figure it out.
Exactly right.
I'll figure that out.
Right.
$95 million. I can figure out how to make that field playable next year.
I like your angle.
So we're going to
Yeah.
strip the roof, the existing roof of all its
Take it
metal.
off, right?
That's got to cost something, right?
Yeah,
that
dude,
metal.
You sell that metal. Give me that metal. I'll sell that metal.
That's the thing. We
Scrap
flip that. We
Get some
get
money
a
back.
scrap.
Yeah.
A couple
We could
scrap
repurpose
people
it.
would take it from Miami up there. We'll get that thing done in
Scrap
50
metal.
grand.
We
Yeah.
could repurpose some of that for our new
95
drainage system
million.
that we're building.
Yeah.
I'm seeing
Couple
that
of holes, yeah.
a drainage system for like a typical yard is somewhere between $2,500 and $8,000.
So what are we
on,
looking
what are
at?
we
Like
doing? 100 grand
60
to do the
grand?
whole
What's
thing.
a
Yeah,
baseball
acreage,
field?
yeah.
If
We're
that's
talking
a
about
big
acreage.
yard.
Yes. But we asked for $95 million.
Of course.
Yeah, duh.
But we figure out how to do it less than $1 million.
People have said the Trop is so ugly for years. Take the roof off.
Yeah.
Enjoy
if we
some
do
Florida
this?
sunlight.
We not only cut off the roof, but we cut off half of the stadium,
Vitamin D.
right? And then we have it open.
Yeah.
So it's not closed
Cut
in.
a
It's not like a
couple walls.
circle.
Yeah.
We open it up.
I could do that.
So you have Dan sitting behind home plate for the Rays games played in Miami. Do you have Dan buying the seat to his left and the seat to his right just to eliminate the chance of anyone sitting next to him?
He wouldn't have to.
It's a Rays game in Miami. It's
wouldn't
like
have to do that.
literally
It's
a
just
meeting of two baseball franchises that don't draw anyways. He doesn't have to worry about that. It's a shame they got rid of the aquarium behind home plate because that's where you could relocate the Rays to.
Wow. I don't know if they'd fit there.
A lot of transport for them back and forth.
Yeah.
You
pretty
felt
big,
good about
yeah.
that one, didn't you, Mike? It was good.
Dan in the back with a box of popcorn, just eating popcorn.
Yeah. Dan is the guy that would buy the house, but also buy the property to the left and the right, though, right? Just to not have neighbors.
Look,
And because he can.
it's a time-consuming bit, but he spends much of his free time watching the Rays anyway.
Right.
How funny would it be if we give Dan the seat right behind home plate and he's just always there?
And he becomes Rays man.
He's just ever present, synonymous with the brand.
You have him dressing up as Rays man.
Yeah.
You have him getting into
Where it was
character.
like light blue, like off
He
brand.
does love costumes.
I tell you, the prospect of the Rays playing in Marlins Park, like, okay, the convenience of having this park in town while not having the emotional baggage that goes along with the Marlins, I essentially now have a new baseball option. I'm kind of in on this. Howdy, y'all. It's Mike. Welcome to DraftKings Crowning Moments. It's a segment that we like to do every week to spotlight some winning bets. Who doesn't love a winner? So let's put that spotlight on this first bet. Someone put $1,000 on A.J. Brown to score the first touchdown at plus 800 odds. And guess what? That is a jaw-dropping $9,000 payout. And then there's this bold bet. Someone bet $100 on Cole Kmet to score 2 or more touchdowns at plus 3,000 odds. Those are some big odds right there. That person turned that into an incredible $3,100 win. And let's not forget the $500 bet on Tank Dell to score the first touchdown, paying out a massive $4,500 at plus 800 odds. Crowning Moments is presented by DraftKings. Submit your winning bets for a chance to be featured. DraftKings, the crown is yours.